The following program is a production of the Storm Front Freaks Network.
So, hey, Storm Freaks, it's Phil, and tonight it's tornado season, folks. And we've got Gabe Garfield with us. This guy knows how to forecast tornadoes, find tornadoes. He'll find the vortices of those tornadoes, take a bite out of those tornadoes, and spit it to the ground.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk to him tonight. I'm also going to teach you how you can win this GoPro 360 camera. It's all on Stormfront Freaks episode number 234. Here we go!
Woo! Going green. Greenwich. Saddle them up. You got it, boss.
All right, welcome to the most entertaining weather podcast. This is the award-winning Stormfront Freaks podcast, and it's brought to you by our amazing Patreon members. Now, I do need to say this, folks. We are finishing up our Patreon support program here in April. So this is the last month of our Patreon support program and the benefits that come through that. And we are shifting. We are going full bore into YouTube. So all of our support, benefits, membership, all that, we're shifting to YouTube. So jump on over to youtube.com/StormfrontFreaks. You can become a member there. We've got new tiers. We've got $5 level tiers, $15 level tiers. Each one comes with some new benefits. We got emojis. We've got discounts on merchandise at theweatherstore.com. We've got new ways that you can get unique material and creativity aspects from us. I mean, there's some cool things, but you got to jump over to YouTube. And certainly, like us, like the show tonight. If you're watching, support us that way. But you can also become a member, and all of our Patreon members. So again, we're closing down Patreon, but all of our Patreon supporters right now are scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Starting in May, that scroll will now be all of our YouTube members. We'll be highlighting all of our YouTube members on the bottom of the screen. I know we've got a lot of you there already. A lot of our Patreon members have transferred over to YouTube already, so we appreciate that. Guys, we love your support. It just helps us create more creations. What's right? What is that?
That was
just
good.
create more?
Perfectly said, Phil.
Like
Perfectly said.
So I'm looking in the chat right now. So to this point, understand our live YouTube show, the recording of our podcast, has been available only to our Patreon members. Well, starting in May, our live recording of the show, of the podcast show, will be available to everybody. So it's going to be back open to the public, which is the way it kind of was before the start of the year. We wanted to give our Patreon members really a little extra benefit. So that's kind of why we shifted it back to being available only to our Patreon members. But what we found is that the chat just lit up. When we were public and we were just open to anybody, man, people just flooded in. We had exciting chat. People love talking to folks. I mean, tonight we still have Mama G's on there. We've got Matt, a.k.a. Fuzzy, is in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Mama G, the basketball wizard.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my God.
Good call.
I know. Her and Edgar, man, it's crazy.
Greg, you were in the running there for
I
a
was
little
in the
while on
lead
that.
for the
Yeah.
first
This
two
close,
rounds. and
Greg.
then-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So anyway, so just want to let everybody know we are going all in on YouTube. Come check us out over on YouTube if you haven't already. Subscribe to the show, and we'd love for you to become a member as well and support everything we're doing so we can provide some extra benefits for you as well. But also know that, hey, the live broadcast of the show starting in May will be available to everybody. So come watch us Thursday nights for the podcast there as well.
Should they still bring their gold bullion or Bitcoin, or what are we talking here?
Sure. Well, heck yeah. We
What?
accept that somehow.
bouillon. Is that like a soup?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeez.
We know how to do that. But I think it's now. It's so. Here's what we've done. A little something new with the show for a couple months is to find out all of our co-hosts that are with us here tonight. We're going to introduce our co-hosts with our Wicked Weather Report.
All right. Welcome to the Wicked Weather Report. And I'm not sure if it's okay for me to start it like that, but I am. So everyone knows I've had a little, I've started to drink a little something. So yeah, I usually don't. Yeah. I've got a little drink in my hand, a fun drink. But I am Jen Watson, and I am a freelance meteorologist at the Weather Channel. And so let's talk about the wild week of storm that swept through the U.S. since mid-April. So over the last 2 weeks, the U.S. has been hammered by a relentless series of storms, from tornadoes to thunderstorms, signaling an intense start to the severe weather season. On April 12th through 13th, a severe thunderstorm outbreak rocked north and central Georgia. I was a part of it. Dina, you were there too, with the National Weather Service issuing a severe thunderstorm watch until midnight. Metro Atlanta faced 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and a golf ball-sized hail. And actually, we saw eggs. There was some really significant hail that fell just about 30 miles west of Atlanta. We got about, Dean, I don't know what you got. We got like nickel sized, but it was very disruptive to many events like the Braves game, causing scattered power outages. And Fox 5's Jonathan Stacy warned of sneaky cellular storms packing a punch, with isolated tornado risks lingering into the early hours. I kind of enjoy that because, Dina, we usually don't get that much hail. Now on April,
we don't. No.
Yeah, we didn't. April 17th through 18th, though, the Southern Plains and Great Lakes were hit very hard as well. Nebraska saw its first tornado warnings of 2025, with 3 confirmed twisters near Lincoln, packing 110-mile-per-hour winds, damaging barns and power poles along I-80. Meanwhile, the Southern Plains faced flash flooding as over a foot of rain fell in already saturated areas. And I actually covered that, prompting Texas to request a major disaster declaration. And meteorologists cite a fading La Nina and warm Gulf moisture as fuel for these early season outbursts, raising alarms for a turbulent spring. So, Greg, I don't know about you, but I feel like severe weather season is here. It started, and yeah. What do you have for us, Greg?
Well, and this next story is really interesting. Given the start of severe weather season, there's a new storm chasing drone which is revolutionizing tornado research. I'm Greg Johnson, storm chaser and photographer, and this is a story that comes from the National Severe Storms Laboratory, who have recently unveiled a game-changing storm chasing tool called the T-Drone, a weather-resistant UAV designed to fly into tornadoes. Now, unlike traditional probes, this drone can navigate supercells at 200 feet, capturing high-res data on wind speeds and pressure changes. And it was tested during a recent Oklahoma storm chase, and it provided unprecedented insight into tornado formation, potentially improving warning times. Lead meteorologist Dr. Sarah Jenkins shared her thrill, which was flying into a storm's heart. Felt like science fiction, she said, but the real data is in the life. But the data is real, and it's life-saving. The drone's $10,000 price tag, Maz, you can get 2 of them, has storm chasers buzzing. Though amateurs are cautioned about its complex controls, this tech could redefine how we hunt and understand nature's fiercest storms. Over to you, Dina.
Storm chasers, heart pounding. Nebraska tornado encounter. I'm meteorologist Dina Knightley, and on April 17, 2025, veteran storm chaser Peter Wharton shared a gripping tale from Nebraska's first tornado outbreak of the year, posted on his Storm Group Chasers blog. While pursuing a supercell near Lincoln with his tour group, Wharton's team found themselves in the path of an EF1 tornado with 100-mile-per-hour winds. The air buzzed with electricity, and hail the size of quarters pelted our SUV, he wrote. With seconds to spare, Wharton navigated an escape route, avoiding debris as the twister tore through a nearby field. His group captured the stunning footage, now circulating on X, showing the funnel's eerie distance against the crimson sunset. Wharton, who chased storms for over 20 years, called it a reminder of why we chase: the thrill, the beauty, and the respect for nature's power. No injuries were reported, but the experience left his team shaken and exhilarated. Take us home, Maz.
Oh, Dina, I got to tell you, those tornadoes were cool. We actually saw some snapshots, and I was looking at the street sign. I was telling my wife, I'm like, we've been right there. And I'm like, yeah, because she was in one of those towns. So anyway, so very cool stuff, Dina. There's a new book that's exploring climate's role in extreme storms. Now, I'm former on-camera meteorologist Mark Masmasaro from the old days. Released on April 14th. When you say meteorologist, it's more like game show host back then. I'm teasing. Anyway. But released on April 14th, 2025, Storm Surge, Climate's Wrath by Dr. Emily Chen is making waves in weather circles. This gripping book dives into how climate change fuels fiercer hurricanes and tornadoes, blending cutting-edge science with stories of survivors from 2024's Hurricane Milton and Helene. Chen, a former NOAA researcher, argues that rising CO2 levels are intensifying storm cycles, citing data from recent southeast flooding. A chapter on storm chasers' evolving tech, like AI-driven forecast models, has tech enthusiasts hooked. The book's available for $29.99 on Amazon. Hopefully I get a cut just for plugging it like that. Anyway, and it's a must-read for weather buffs. Now, Chen's X posts about the book have sparked lively debates, with some praising her clarity and others challenging her climate links. So amazing stuff, Brady, take us over to the AI side.
I'm sorry.
Breda.
Go for it, Breda.
That accent got me.
Sorry, man.
Bring it back, Breda.
What's happening, people?
I love you, Brady.
Outbreak meteorologist Brady Harris, aka Stormcat 5. I'm so sorry.
I think we lost him already.
On April 20th, 2025, startup Cinematech launched StormSense, a groundbreaking AI weather-driven app that's turning heads among meteorologists and storm chasers alike. Unveiled during a severe thunderstorm watch in West Texas, StormSense uses machine learning to predict storm paths down to the neighborhood, offering 15-minute lead times for tornadoes and flash floods. The app, priced only at $5 a month, that's the same price as our membership. That's like a cup of coffee a day, a year. Integrates real-time radar and crowdsourced reports, outperforming traditional models during recent plain storms. Now, developer Maria Torres, a former National Weather Service forecaster, shared on X, "We trained StormSense on a decade's storms of data." That's a decade. That's longer than I've been alive. It's like having a meteorologist in your pocket. While some worry about the resilience of AI, StormSense precision could save lives, especially in rural areas. Available on iOS and Android, it's already trending among weather enthusiasts. Maz, back to you and our epic guest.
You're correct. I don't know if you're a decade old, Brady. I do question. All right, sorry.
Well, thank you, Frida. I appreciate your story on that one. Anyway, hey, ladies and gentlemen, prepare for a whirlwind. You're going to meet Gabe Garfield, the storm-chasing legend from Norman, Oklahoma, with over 25 years of battling nature's fiercest tempest. He's only 26 years old, by the way. This meteorological maestro, armed with a bachelor's and master's from OU, has stared down over 200 tornadoes, including 2 EF5s, get that, and lit up screens on Discovery Channel's Storm Chasers. Gabe's passion for decoding the skies and sharing weather wisdom, the sage, makes him a true rock star of the storm world. Gabe, welcome here. Woo! I got a question. So first thing I got to ask is, okay, you got all this background, you got science, but you've been doing it so long. There's a bit of an artistic side. So where do you fall on the spectrum? Not that one. Where do you fall on the spectrum when it comes to science or art? Where are you in all of this?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that question. By the way, that was the best intro I've ever received in my life. So thank you for that.
You did a good job writing.
No lie.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, that was nicely done. But yeah, so that's a great question. I think probably more on the science side than the art side, at least where weather is concerned. Privately, probably I have a little bit of an artsy side, but I don't express that as much in the weather side. I get very much into the analytical side of things, the details, and that's what I like.
But don't you find that you, since you've been doing it so long, you kind of, I got it. I mean, I know what's coming.
I think to some degree things repeat. You see stuff like today where there's a setup out in Texas, and you say, "Oh, I'm pretty sure there are going to be some tornadoes out there," and it's like you recognize the patterns, but then the atmosphere humbles you. And I always remember listening to this presentation by Rich Thompson, who's at the Storm Prediction Center, and he, has had an incredible career, 30 plus years predicting storms. And he has said that he is often humbled by the weather. So I think that's one of the things that I love about it, is that there's still a lot of mystery to it. It's not easy. You have to be on your toes. And some of the work that I've been doing recently has been kind of keeping me on my toes and helping me to really dig in and really try harder, I guess you could say.
Okay, so Gabe, you said you're more of a let's say, technical, analytical guy.
Mm-hmm.
For you, what gets you going? Is it more, let's say, a great tornado or a really interesting mesoscale accident? And maybe it's not even like a tornado. Maybe it's like, maybe you have like some really like weird thing that happened out somewhere where there was no storm chaser for 100 miles around. Maybe it's a derecho that was like not expected to have that level of intensity. Or is it always about the tornadoes? I noticed the pictures on the wall behind you. They're tornadoes. So, like, where is it for you?
That's a great question. I think probably the first part of that would be I'm really interested in the tornadoes foremost. I think there's something that even now feels almost childlike when I see a big storm, and I can't get away from that. It's always been there. Every storm is different, and I just love that feeling of seeing an amazing, inspiring storm. And honestly, going back through some of my old video, especially when I was younger, I tended to vocalize that enthusiasm, and it was kind of embarrassing, to be honest. And I still can't hold it in. And so I'd say that's probably the first thing for me. But at the same time, kind of when everything's all said and done, I love to dig into the numbers and really understand the ins and outs of why something happened. And so it's kind of both, but it's like, first, it's that awe of how big tornadoes are, of how big supercells are.
Gabe, I'll just say this: there's nothing wrong with screaming at weather. Okay,
there isn't.
See epic tornadoes, epic lightning. There's nothing wrong with screaming at the weather.
No.
Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah. So Gabe, you have come to the National Storm Chaser Summit, I think maybe just about every year, and you teach all of us. I feel like we all know like the basics, but then when you get more intricate into the details and the physics of everything, you go from basic to expert, but you break things down in such an amazing, easy to understand way. It's mind blowing. But I have a couple questions. So first, what have you learned from chasing? Are there any tips that you can give chasers? And what have you learned about either the structure of supercells, or I've noticed this, when forecasting, and why some supercells are, produce a tornado and some don't. And then if you want to break down what you've noticed in trend wise over the past, I would say 5 to 10 years with Tornado Alley.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think so the first tip that I would give really is just to know weather charts. I think weather charts are the foundation for everything. And I think a lot of people, when they're trying to forecast tornadoes, often find themselves being intimidated by like QT graphs or charts and hodographs and upper air maps and things like that. And so I think if you can really dig into that first, I think it gives you the confidence then to dig into some of the pattern recognition that comes with that. So actually, by the way, I did develop a short course. It's like a free course. You can find it on my Twitter. Basically, just kind of breaks down the weather charts in particular. So if you can get that down, that piece will really set the foundation for then getting into the actual process of forecasting. So that would be the first thing. And then the second piece, you were talking about which storm would produce a tornado versus won't. I think a lot of that has to go with having a good understanding of how tornadoes form, what they require, right? So at the very base of how tornadoes form. It's very simple. When you kind of break it down, it's spin and stretch, right? They're just two ingredients that you need for tornadoes. And so anywhere you can find that, that is where a tornado is likely to form, or the most likely to form. Now, there are many ways to create that set of conditions, right? So you can have sometimes what they call non-supercell tornadoes, where that that stretch is already there in the environment. You already have some instability. You already have a little bit of spin, and then you get a cumulus cloud, and it just makes a tornado out of that.
Yeah.
Or more commonly, 70% of tornadoes form by supercells. So the reason that supercells produce a lot of tornadoes is because they create the conditions, spin and stretch, more frequently. And so obviously, if you can forecast where supercells are likely to develop, then you'll have a better sense of which storms are likely to produce a tornado. So if you're trying to decide between a supercell, which the north supercell or the south supercell, there are a lot of things that go into that. I would say one thing that I would really look for would be outflow boundaries. Like today, outflow boundaries are awesome. Greg could probably tell you a little bit about that. And backed winds, I love this. The term backed means winds that are not from the south, but are more from the southeast or east-southeast at the surface. So if you're looking at the surface map, you see winds out of the southeast or even the east-southeast. That's a good sign for where you might want to target tornadoes in general in the plains. And and then the other thing, the other piece of wisdom that I might give is that don't get too married to your forecast.
That's good advice.
I think that came from this idea of having a great forecast the day before, or maybe the morning of. Came from days when people, I think, didn't have a whole lot of data. They had to look at the maps at 10 in the morning and drive out to somewhere and hope that there would be tornadoes.
Yeah.
Nowadays we have something called smartphones, and we can actually see data and we can adjust. And I'll say that one of the people that I've seen who throughout my chase career really inspired me to take a different approach to storm chasing, really helped me to become better, was Reed Timmer, actually. And Reed did a great job early of just adjusting to observations. If there was a storm that had a great looking return, maybe a hook echo or something, he would just jump to it. He wouldn't waste time. And I started to wonder why he was seeing so many tornadoes, and then I saw that he had that pattern in his chasing. So I would say those few things, and then I forget the last question.
I think it's more the trends that you've seen over the past 5 to 10 years with Tornado Alley.
Yeah, thank you. So the last piece, I would say, everything always kind of returns back to normal. I think that's the pattern I've seen over 25 years of chasing. I mean, you'll have some years where Kansas will be the place, some years where Texas will be the place. Lately, the trend has been Iowa, and that has been wild. I remember back in the early 2000s, I chased Iowa probably 2 or 3 times and busted every time. It was horrible. and we actually, the joke was, it's not that old. We'd call it Liowa. Yeah. Moderate
awesome.
risk in Iowa would always bust, and I don't know what happened, but that's the trend I've seen.
I love that. Thanks, Gabe.
Hey,
Gabe,
going to your discussion about following days, like what's happening right now with boundaries, outflow boundaries. How do you look at that? How do you see that? Are you looking at radar? Are you looking at satellite imagery for that? Are you looking at surface obs, or just a combination of all those things? But what's the best way for a chaser to look for where a boundary is? Boundary is kind of one of those words, right? Like a guy like you throws that out, and then we all look at we're all over here looking at the map on a storm day. We're going, yeah, look for the boundary.
Yeah.
We have no idea what the boundary is, right?
It's loaded like a giant burrito.
Yeah,
It's just...
So how are you seeing that boundary? Is it primarily satellite? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah. It's not one of those Bill Paxton routines with the dirt, right?
Yeah.
You got to actually look at it. Yeah, on satellite. I'd say satellite's a pretty good deal. So last night, I think how I was thinking about today's event was, looking at last night, we had this incredible mesoscale convective system, a line of storms that wasn't expected to develop. And, sometimes that can go the wrong way, right? You get a line of storms, it gets very cold because there's rain and there's evaporation. And sometimes that wipes out the moisture, right? And sometimes, like on a day like today, when there aren't a whole lot of clouds and you get a lot of sunshine, that boundary, the boundary between the cool air that comes out of the storm, the MCS, the line of storms, and like the juicy air to the south of that, it moderates a little bit on the north side. And that's what we saw today is that, we knew there was going to be a boundary with those storms last night. I mean, any storm chaser who's chased for a long time knows that those lines often leave those boundaries. And so it's just really a question of where's that going to end up? Is it going to keep moving further south, or is it going to kind of stay stationary? And so that's really what you look for is you look for a boundary that's not moving south. And the way you see that is, like you said, on satellite. You can see basically where to the south of the boundary, typically, you have these really clumpy cumulus congestus clouds that, if you look on satellite, they just kind of look like popcorn, right? And then to the north of that, typically it looks a little bit more, let's say, stable. And what that means is that the clouds look a little bit more flat. They don't have as much clumpiness. Sometimes they're oriented in what we call cloud streets. And cloud streets are just kind of basically, lines of clouds, and they indicate stability. So that's what you usually see on the north side of the boundary. So basically where you see the clumpy cumulus clouds on the south kind of meet the relatively stratified lines of clouds to the north, that's the boundary. And if you don't have a lot of cloudiness on the north side of the boundary, but just a little bit, and you have pretty good sunshine, that means that the boundary is going to be heating. And that's good because you need instability for storms. Remember, I was talking about that stretch, right? The stretch comes from the instability. Instability just meaning a difference. Essentially, the way to think about it is the hot air balloon effect, right? The hot air balloon rises because the air inside the hot air balloon is warmer than what surrounds it. Okay, so then that creates sort of a vertical motion that once you have a rotation that's oriented in the vertical, it stretches into a tornado. Like the ice skater pulling in her arms. So that's why you need that heating on the north side of the boundary. So you can look at it on satellite primarily. So to your question, Greg, that's where you'd see it. You'd probably know to look for that just based upon experience, knowing that if you have a line of storms, let's look at the satellites, let's see what's there. And then sometimes if the boundary is strong enough or you're close enough to a radar, you can actually see the boundary. You can see a little fine line in the reflectivity. And that's typically oriented usually in an east-west pattern, maybe sometimes northwest-southeast. And what I usually look for when I'm looking for tornadoes with boundaries is that typically the storms will form, let's say, to the south of that boundary, and then they start to move maybe, let's say, northeast towards that boundary. And if that happens, then once they hit that boundary, that's when the jet engine really turns up and it starts to spin really hard.
Awesome.
So
Thank you.
I got a question. So you've seen a couple of EF5s. Were those the ingredients for that? Was it totally different? Where were they? What was totally out of them? Were you surprised by anything during those EF5s?
Great question, man.
Oh yeah, that's a great question. The one that comes to mind, and probably the one that illustrates the surprise the most, is the May 20th, 2013 EF5 that hit Moore, Oklahoma. You all know about that one. That is actually the last official EF5 on record, which is kind of amazing in itself. And that day, I was actually working at the National Weather Service doing what we call the hazardous weather test bed. So we were looking at ways to improve weather warnings. And my bit for that job had already been done. As soon as storms formed, I was doing some modeling work. And at that point, once the storms had formed, my job was done. And so I said to the coordinator, hey, do you mind if I go today? It's looking pretty good. And he said, normally, I'd tell you no, because you're a big part of this and you really should be here. But you know what? I have a feeling that I would want me to tell you to go if I were you, And so he basically said, I'll let you go this time. So just take some good pictures and thank me later. And so I went, and I was on my way south to a storm that was developing. I think it was near Pauls Valley.
I got to stop you right there, Gabe.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was on that Pauls Valley storm.
Sure.
I picked the south option, right? And at the time, I would say in 2013, like, oh, you hear the tail end, Charlie, the south storm, the clean inflow. I go down to Paul's Valley and then watch what happened in Moore. So what was it that made you make that? What is that thing that made you make that decision? Tell me what it is right now.
Very simply, Greg, I saw the hook echo and I said, I got to turn around and go back towards that.
Oh, so you just made the decision that early, right?
It was that quick. It was the Reed Timmer thing I was telling you about, where you just see the data and you adjust. And it just so happened I got lucky, to be honest with you. I mean, I got lucky because I'd left late. Was far enough away from the storm to the south that I could return back to Moore. And I thought it was an outflow boundary, honestly, that had done all that stuff. Because, Greg, I mean, you weren't thinking that there was going to be anything up there near Oklahoma City. I mean, no one did. It's all going to be southwestern Oklahoma. And I had thought for the longest time that it was an outflow boundary, but what it ended up being, and I'm not sure all the particulars of this, but it looks like there was some kind of what we call 700 millibar jet maximum that came in to central Oklahoma right around that time. Chris Broyles at SBC talks about this in a paper that he wrote.
Of course he did.
To interact. Yeah, of course he did. Right. Broyles is amazing, by the way. And it hit the storm and it just went nuts. Now it's hard to, pull that out of another thing that happened, which was that there was another storm that kind of came into the Moore storm from the southwest. And I don't know how familiar you are with nudger theory. Cameron Nixon has nudgers, right? What Cameron Nixon is talking about. That happened with that storm. And I don't know if it was happenstance or if, Cameron Nixon is onto something. I think probably the latter. But the storm went nuts. So just to answer your question succinctly, Greg, I'd say luck.
Yeah. It was super frustrating, and the on days like that, and I think we've all been in this room, in this situation. You miss that storm, right? And that was one where there was a couple of options. We made the wrong choice, and then you take solace in the fact when you read through and you find out who else was on that storm that sucked that you were on. And you're like, awesome, Reed was on that storm. I suck as bad as Reed on this one, and et cetera, right? And, but, just to know that you made that decision. And I mean, there was obviously a lot of people that were on that storm. I mean, what an impressive, in your case, stroke of luck to be on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Gabe, you kind of talked about spin and stretch, and I've never actually heard someone put it that way. And there's a lot of people that look at tornadoes and get very confused by like how do they form, and you get all technical, and that is a really amazing, simple way to put it. So when you talk about spin, you talk about stretch. Now, how does that quantify with a lot of the parameters we look at, like CAPE, like helicity, like what are those
Great
parameters?
question.
What are you looking for? And is there one that's more important than another? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think really kind of to break it down to something that's very, very simple is that, when you think about the instability, right? You think about the hot air balloon effect, right? I mean, that's just your garden variety storm, right? It just goes up and it goes down. And what you need for a tornado is you need, at least in the case of supercells, you need the wind shear, right? So what you have with the instability is the stretch. You already have one ingredient just from instability and really to some degree moisture, dew points. But then the shear comes in, and that's really the key piece, because what the shear does is, you've got obviously, let's say you've got winds increasing with height, okay? And then you put the paddle wheel in the middle and it starts to rotate, right? Once that horizontal rotation gets put into the vertical, it just becomes this like giant rotating cylinder. So basically the instability, that hot air balloon pushes that horizontal rotation and it puts it into the vertical. And as soon as you have it in the vertical, you have basically all you need. You have, the stretch from the instability, and you have the spin from the supercell thunderstorm. Now, there's a little bit more that goes into it, but fundamentally, that's all it is.
So what's your key parameter?
Yeah.
It's both. It's both, Greg. It's both. It's a combination of both. Come on, man. No, but Gabe, I think that's so cool because there's a lot of terms in meteorology. There's a lot of terms, and there's a lot of people that are very confused. I mean, people have a hard enough time looking at the weather app and saying, okay, 50%, what the heck does that mean? So I think the more we can simplify weather, the better, and spin and stretch. I mean, that's brilliant. So I just, I'm going to be telling that now to all of my friends and family when I try to explain tornadoes. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Gabe, do you ever get stuck in that analysis paralysis type thing? Because sometimes it's easy to say, okay, I'm going to look at 5 things and it's my go-to 5 things. And then it's not happening. And then you're like, oh my God, now I'm looking at everything. And I'm looking at the 700 and the 850 and I'm looking at the surface obs. And I just, and then you just crash in your brain. I mean,
Wonderful question. Yes. In short, yes. And actually, this is definitely not a plug for what I've been doing, but I actually have recently created an online course, which basically boils down my chase process. And through that process of trying to distill my process or condense what, my experience is, I realized that, I didn't have a very succinct way of going through that initially. It was sort of more by feel, like, okay, today I'm going to look at the Cape and the 0 to 6 kilometer shear and the helicity and all these different things. And what I ended up doing was actually creating a process, like top to bottom. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. And it's really actually helped me, to be honest with you, which is wild because it's my process, but I would sometimes miss process steps, if you will. And since I started doing things that way, I've gotten a lot, I would say, even better at forecasting than I had been before, just by making sure I wasn't missing key pieces. Because the thing is, if you don't have a good checklist to go through, that you're actually in danger of missing key pieces that the atmosphere is telling you.
I think I need to download this checklist immediately.
I think we all do.
I really do.
We all
I think
do.
it'd be great.
So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick video break, and I think when we come back, we'll talk more with Gabe, but find out more about this course because I think a lot of people are interested in this as well. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
In a world where tornadoes and hurricanes and blizzards run rampant, destroying everything in their path, one man, no, and one team of freaks stands in their way, covering it all on one show.
We have a confirmed tornado
From afar and from up close. That man is Stormcat 5. That team is the Stormfront Freaks. And that show, this show, is Outbreak. And Outbreak starts when tornadoes or hurricanes or blizzards strike. I'll be here tracking it all. One team with one goal, to keep you safe when it matters most. Come join us next time on Outbreak. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Outbreak. Guys, this is your official Outbreak forecast. We are just starting with a quick couple of tornado warnings that we have right now. This is just the beginning. I want you to remember this day, Thursday, April 24th. We have had unbelievably large hail, grapefruit-sized hail, and multiple tornadoes because of this severe weather risk that we had today. We started today off with an enhanced risk. We've got more severe weather expected later on this week, starting on Friday, April 25th. We've got this marginal area. I expect this possibly to be upgraded to a slight risk on Friday. So we've got severe weather expected on Friday. We've got severe weather expected again on Saturday. This is all in West Texas, in the West Texas Panhandle. I'm sure all the Stormfront freaks are all familiar with this area. That's Amarillo, Lubbock, even Clovis here on Saturday, April 26th. And we are not done with severe weather. We have more severe weather expected, and it is going to be possibly a severe weather outbreak. We are talking about this risk on Monday, April 28th. This could be bad news. This is an enhanced risk that's already been issued. That's a 30% centered once again in Iowa. We could be talking about all hazards. We could be talking about a tornado outbreak on Monday, April 28th. And we also have more of the same expected on Tuesday. We've got this slight risk that goes from Michigan all the way through Oklahoma and Texas, where more severe weather is expected. Let me give you a quick sneak peek of why. This is the trough that's going to be pushing through. This is the kind of the initiator for all of that severe weather, and it's going to start with this trough as it ejects from the Rockies. Let's take a look right there. See that piece of energy start to work its way to the north. That's going to be our initiator for severe weather right in there. That is the jet stream. That is winds at 500 millibars. So once again, we are talking about all hazards possible on Monday and Tuesday. Monday could be a very big day. All the ingredients are in place for a widespread tornado outbreak. So heads up for Monday and Tuesday. Now let's give you a sneak peek at what the chase week could look like. This is the supercell parameter. Once again, this is for week 1. So this is April 24th through May 1st. Looks like Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas. That is going to be a hot spot of supercells, of severe storms. We're already seeing it this week. Let's go ahead and take a look at week 2. This is when the storm front freaks are starting to chase, and things have been trending a little bit down. So interestingly enough, we're going to have to keep a close eye on the forecast, but the first week of May looks like Texas is going to be where all the action is, but there could be a ridge of high pressure. So we'll take a look at that. Things become more clear as we get a little bit further. And then the second week of May here, things have been kind of going back and forth. So once again, we're going to have to keep a close eye. But the thing to know in the medium to short term is Monday and Tuesday, April 28th and April 29th are going to be big days. Phil, back to you.
Mesoscaleforecast.com brings us Stormnet, a state-of-the-art deep learning model designed to revolutionize severe weather forecasting. The innovative tool is tailored to provide unparalleled real-time predictions of severe weather events, including probability of wind, hail, and tornadoes. And now they've added Hurricane Vision, a cutting-edge hurricane track and intensity prediction system that uses deep artificial intelligence to predict the track and future intensity of tropical cyclones. You've seen us use it on our Storm Front Freaks live outbreak coverage with meteorologist Stormcat 5. Now you can use it as well. Visit Mesoscaleforecast.com and access live data subscriptions. Plus, when you enter the code Stormfront, you'll receive a 10% discount for life. Yes, for life. Go to Mesoscaleforecast.com.
Step into the storm with Virtue Weather software. Experience lifelike virtual weather through awe-inspiring visualizations and real-time, physics-driven simulations. Whether you're a streamer or a broadcaster, captivate your audience with an impossibly immersive experience of live weather like never before. The future of weather visualization is here. See it on Storm Front Freaks Outbreak storm coverage this season.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
God, I love that song.
Me
you
too.
might not know this, but I sing that behind the scenes while that song is being played.
No way. Prove it.
We've been doing this for what, almost 10 years now. So, so we're back here with Gabe Garfield. Gabe, and again, I thank you again for jumping on at kind of short notice this evening. I'm so happy to have you back on the show. But I want to talk about your educational program, because that's something here on Stormfront Freaks. When we started this whole thing almost 10 years ago, that was part of it, right? We wanted to have an entertaining weather show, right? Not get too deep into all the science and all the verbiage that most people don't understand, but just have a lot of fun talking about storms and all that sexy crap, but be educational at the same time and help teach people things. And I can't tell you, and I can't tell anybody listening or watching, the education that I've gotten in the last 10 years talking to people like you, and what I've learned and how I've grown. And it's been a college degree on learning about weather and storms. And so I'm really excited about anytime people start doing educational programs. I'll be honest, sometimes I get a little concerned or worried about the legality of you're teaching people to go chase storms, and and so, I know Maz could understand that, right? It's like, you're teaching people to go do something. There might be some legal issues there, but I love it because that's what I crave and that's what I needed and that's what I love. And so I really want to know what got you passionate about doing your videos and your online training, and just tell us a little bit about that. What is it all about? What are you focusing on?
Yeah, so what I've built is an online course. It's a full-length course, kind of goes through the A to Z of my storm chasing process that I've built over 25 years. And the incentive for that, the reason I started the project was really having a lot of requests about trying to find tornadoes. I remember a couple of years ago, actually, I got a great email from this fella who was wanting to go chasing in the plains, and he was like, "Hey, can you consult me for a week? I'll pay you." And I was like, "I'd love to, but I don't have the time to do all of that." Right. So it, kind of dovetailed into, I wonder if there's a way that I can actually sort of condense what I've learned into something that scales a little bit, right? That I don't have to talk to everyone, but they have my mind, as it were, when they're going out chasing. So that was a big part of it. And the other thing is, quite frankly, one of the things I'm learning is that, in life, you have seasons. Most people have seasons. Not everyone can be storm chasing all the time. We have folks, obviously, who are career storm chasers. That's great, but that's a very small number of folks. And the vast majority of folks are folks that, they can only chase for a certain period of their life. I chased during my 20s and into my 30s. And then after that, it's been a little bit more sparse. And I really don't like that very much. I'd love to be out there more, but people have priorities. I have a family, and that's great, and that's what I want. But I think what dawned on me through this whole process was learning that those times are very fleeting. And if you're out there and you're chasing without knowing what to do, then you're going to have to learn the hard way. And that's something I did. When I first started out, I started very young. My dad was actually my first storm chase partner back in 1998, if you can believe it. Before I even had a driver's license, we went out there. And we had no idea what we were doing. We drove under wall clouds. We drove into hail. We stopped chasing when we should have continued, all of that stuff. And what I wanted to do was to kind of shorten that period of learning, right? So it took me 3 years, I think it was 3 years of full-time chasing, going out probably 10, 12 times a year before I saw my first tornado. Now, that was, before the era of smartphones, right? So, it was a lot harder back then, but still.
Yeah, God, that's actually not bad, knowing you didn't have a smartphone with you to figure that out.
Yeah.
It was wild. I'll tell you, Phil, I was around, I had some great forecasts, and I would be literally, 5 or 10 miles from a tornado, and I wouldn't know it was there because we didn't have the radar with us. We'd stop at libraries, get the library card. I don't know if any of you chase like that, but probably maybe all of you, I don't know. But anyway, so that was the other impetus, is really just trying to help people to minimize the amount of time spent kind of striving to get better at it, and so that they can actually have more success.
Wait, how much was he going to pay you? That's what I want to know.
Oh, who was going to pay me?
How much was he going to pay you? Because you kind of had me at the sexy part there.
Right.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah. I didn't actually get to that, to be honest with you. I'm not much of a businessman, but I should have gotten a little bit more out of that. But
you call me next time. Call me next time. I'll be like, and how much are you going to pay Gabe?
Yeah.
Exactly. Gabe, how many sessions online, like how many learning sessions have you made so far?
Yeah. So what I wanted to do for this course was, first of all, just to structure it in a way that is very digestible. And so, people have short attention spans, right? So I was thinking, people aren't going to want to watch a 60-minute module. So what I ended up doing was creating short little, vignettes, 3 minutes long. Usually most of them are around 3 minutes, maybe 5-minute modules. And I made about 80 of those. And it basically it goes through the entire process that I have. And believe it or not, you can finish it in about 6 hours if you're kind of binging going through it.
That's amazing. I feel
80.
like
That's impressive.
How long did it take you to do that, Gabe, to get everything like all together and make that happen?
It took me a year. So I'm a full-time worker here doing other things. So most of my course building was done during the evenings while my wife and I were watching, Succession or something like that. I was kind of letting that go in my ear and the other. And then I was building, these PowerPoints with all this stuff about finding tornadoes. So,
which is was so awesome.
Gabe, right now in Texas, right near Matador, Texas, Floydada, that area, there's 2 supercells that are currently, I believe 2 of them are now tornado warned. I could be wrong.
They are.
Oh, wow.
Okay, they're both 2 tornado warned. Both of them are completely stationary, not moving. Like if you put the loop on there, Brady, you'll see they are like that's a half an hour loop and they've moved 5 miles. So in this situation, not knowing the parameters and everything, all things being equal, Gabe, what are you doing? You going to the south storm? Or you going to the north storm?
That's a good question. I'm probably going to go to the south storm more than likely. I'm going to do make the Pauls Valley decision.
Oh, look, we got a nudger. We got a nudger possible.
We got the nudger. Oh, the nudger.
Nudger possible. Nudger possible.
I mean, I'm sure.
I mean, those really are the decisions, though, in storm chasing. That I mean, it seems like a small deal, but those situations happen, I think, on every single storm chase. Every chase, there's this moment where Phil goes, "Okay, we gotta go," and I go, "Well, slow down, Phil. Maybe we wanna go to the south one." And then you sit there and you're nestled between 2 storms. And as Dina, you described it, right? That paralysis of analysis, but everyone runs into that moment. You've probably been there, Gabe. So how do you get over that beyond the, look at the radar signature, look for the hook? But I mean, they both have a decent hook. They're both tornado warned. What do we do?
Yeah. So I think the first piece is to have a good forecast, which we talked about that forecast process. So being sure that you have kind of in your short-term memory the conclusion that you came up with earlier in the day or maybe earlier in the afternoon. I've sometimes failed to do that, forgetting that there was there's like a cap to the south or something. And I'm like, there's a beautiful hook echo to the south, as I did in 2018. And there was May 1st, 2018, there was a great storm setup in Kansas. And I had been near I-70 all day and I was tracking a supercell that I thought was going into a great environment, but it looked a little messy. And then there was this beautiful sucker storm to the south. And I went after it because I had forgotten the environment.
And the North Storm produced
a huge piece. And the North Storm, you remember that? Were you there?
I was on it. Yeah.
Okay. So we switched places, right?
Yeah. So we switched places there. Right on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was on the Southern Storm, and that had a beautiful sunset with no storm. So that was that was tough. And so part of it is remembering the environment, and the second piece is, and this is probably one of my biggest secrets, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. You don't have to make a decision right away, and that's something that I think a lot of folks don't realize, that you can hedge. You can move if you think the northern storm looks a little better, you can move a little north. And maybe you stop for a minute and say, do I still like that, or do I like the southern storm? And it looks completely crazy. You look like you're a nutty person, but it turns out that's a really good strategy.
But what if one of them is dropping a tornado right now? Yeah, we gotta go.
Well, then go for that one.
No, it looks like it could be. Okay, and this is the last one from me, Gabe. But when you're looking at those storms and you're looking at your forecast and you're looking at it in 2 dimensions, like what's behind Brady right now on the screen, it's easy to put a pin in a map and say, I'm going to go here. But we all know, in particular in places like West Texas, where you don't have a lot of road options, right? The terrain, the canyons, the river, all these things that play a role. How much, and this is maybe throwing you a volleyball, throwing you a loaded question here, but how much of that plays into your forecast over and above the actual forecast for the weather? How much goes into, oh my God, this is Eastern Oklahoma. Ugh. Is this, this is the Ozarks. Ugh.
Oh my goodness. That is a great question. I think that my general gut is to go towards the best environment always and hope that the terrain works out, because I'd rather have a chance to see a monster through trees than to be on a piddly storm with a great view. But that's just me. Now, since I live in East Tennessee now, so that's all.
Greg, you seem to agree with that, yes?
Well, no, I actually totally disagree with Gabe because
Okay.
as a photographer, right, it's for me, I'd rather get a really classic lightning storm on the plains and miss the 20-second tornado in Yazoo City, Mississippi or whatever. I don't know. It's just sometimes the terrain overshadows the weather as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you look at that map behind Brady, and it doesn't look far apart, but when you're driving it, you're like, oh, well, we can go up here, or we can go to the south.
Texas.
But it's, it's like, oh, it's an hour. Oh, it's, like you don't have time to nudge back and forth sometimes. So it's like,
Dina, but at least it's near Lubbock, so that at least we know we're going back to Lubbock to sleep in Lubbock. So at least it's near Lubbock.
Yeah,
right.
We're gonna be in the same Lubbock hotel. I know it.
So, and that's a great point that you bring up, Dina, because I think that when you're choosing between the two of those, I'd say generally speaking, you want to pick the southern one. More often than not, that ends up being the biggest one because it has the cleanest inflow, right? It doesn't have any storms coming in except for maybe some nudgers from the southwest.
Tip, Gabe. I like that tip.
Oh,
I like that. Okay.
So Gabe, if you're making a decision, you're like, oh, I got to turn around, I got to drive someplace. If you're a passenger in your car and that you don't have access to you per se, maybe you said this, but is your 101 class, is this free? Do we have to bring gold bullion again? What are we talking?
Yeah. So I've got a couple of things going on. So a couple of free deals. So I have the Tornado Forecasting Foundations course, which is basically that weather charts deal I was telling you about. And that's, if you go to my Twitter, which is at WXGabe, it's pinned to the top there. And if you want to reach out to me there, I can definitely send that to you. And then also I'm going to be over the next month or so producing a 101 series for YouTube. So the idea is, not everyone has the money to pay for a full length tornado course, whatever. I get that. So what I really want to do is kind of just in spurts, talk about the same topics in the course and kind of break it down for folks on YouTube. So I'll be doing that here probably within the next month. So that's the first piece. And then the full length course, that's kind of if I want to get it done quickly, I've got a storm chase vacation in 2 weeks. Nice. And I'd really like to have this full thing ready to go, all 80 modules on demand. That's the paid version, and you can get that on my website at gabegarfield.com.
Cool. Awesome. I like a free degree, though. Just saying. Free degree.
Me too.
Yeah. A lot of us do.
You like the free degree? Yeah.
Phil likes it, too. Phil loves that.
So, Gabe, I hear that there may be a future storm chaser in the family. Can you elaborate more on that a little?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. My son, he is 5 years old, and he has seen his daddy in the trenches with this course and with looking at radar and watching YouTube tornado videos. And now he's gotten to the point where he's like, Daddy, can we watch tornadoes? And just out of nowhere. And so we're at that point, he's become a junior storm chaser. And one of his favorite pastimes nowadays is to ask me to tell him a story about I have made up some characters for him for like bedtime and stuff called Storm Chaser and the Buckaroo. And I
It's
literally
a book.
It is a book.
It's a book.
It's a book.
Okay,
Yes,
Gabe.
exactly.
All the people that are watching this, like both of them are like they just melted.
Yeah.
They just melted.
That's
Oh
so
my
sweet.
god.
Gabe, I love that. You need to have a children's book, yes.
Yeah, you bet.
Oh, listen to that, folks. That's the sound. It's time for a lightning round, Gabe. This is our flashy and brilliant game show that we always get to play with our guests. You've been on before. You know a little bit about this if you can remember.
Brilliant.
It's probably been like 8 years. But so tonight we're going to play a game with you. We're calling it Weather Flick Frenzy. All right, so Weather Flick Frenzy. So what this is, Gabe, I'm going to give you a quote from a weather themed film movie, right? And it's a quote from the movie. And your whole point is just to guess what movie this quote came from. Okay, I've got a couple hints I'll give you. If the quote doesn't necessarily do it for you, I'll give you a couple hints. If you don't get it on the quote, I always let the freaks jump in. You know, freaks can jump in and maybe give you some advice. You don't always have to listen to them, but they might they'll probably give you some advice. But I've got some hints I'll share with you as well, what the film might be. But your whole goal is to guess what film this quote came from. Make sense?
Okay, sure.
All right, so here we go. So here's the first quote. We're going to need a bigger boat. We're going to need a bigger boat. What storm or weather film was this from?
We're going to need a bigger boat. That sounds more like Jaws than it sounds like weather movie.
It does, and it is actually, I think it's from Jaws. But Jaws is not a weather or storm.
Yeah, that's what I was. I don't know.
No idea.
Storm.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
No idea.
Perfect storm.
Storm.
Wow.
Wow,
Nailed it.
yes.
Oh,
Perfect
Boom!
storm. 2000. Well
Nice.
done.
Good
well
job.
done. All right,
That-
throwing a
that
softball up for you on this one. We got cows.
Twister.
Twister, you got that. No, you're 2 for 2. No,
didn't
no
know that
hints
one.
needed there. All right, here we go. It gets a little harder. There's
Okay.
not a whole lot of weather and storm themed films. That's the problem. All right, this is not a drill. This is the real thing.
Ooh,
Oh,
I know this one.
I don't. No clue.
This is not a drill. This is the real thing. All right, nothing.
I don't know.
And the chat, you guys are welcome.
Gabe,
Chat,
Gabe,
you guys
I
are
would go with
welcome. to
day
add to.
after tomorrow.
Help us
Got
out,
another
Chad.
hint?
Is it
Day after
Twisters?
tomorrow?
Day after tomorrow. It is.
Oh.
Day
Wow,
after
that
tomorrow.
was my guess.
wow.
That's
Okay.
impressive.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's been
All
since,
right.
what, 2012?
Garrett didn't even know that one.
2004. 2004.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
this is
a great
We're
one.
getting old,
That
Gabe.
long
We're
ago?
getting old, buddy.
Oh,
We-
God.
Oh,
we're
man.
getting old.
We're getting
All right.
so old. Oh,
Here we go.
Yeah.
Next quote. You
Brady's-
can't control the weather, but you can control the satellites.
Oh, I know this one.
Oh, Garrett.
Oh,
God,
I
I
know
love
this.
Garrett. He's such like
Garrett's
full of
got
What do you
knowledge.
think, Gabe?
dude, Garrett's on it.
Maybe
Can't
look at
control
the,
the
chat,
weather,
Gabe.
but
Maybe
you can
look at the
control
chat.
the satellites.
I'm being told it's geostorm.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the worst weather movie ever
Oh.
made.
It's so
By
real,
far.
Greg. What are you talking about?
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
so
Greg.
real.
It's so
happening
real.
right now.
It is literally. Oh.
All right, here we go. Next quote, Gabe. It's raining tacos from out of the sky. What?
That's not
I don't know
real.
if
What
I know
weather
that one.
or storm-related film? is
Wait,
this
actually,
from?
I know this one. I know this one. Yep.
Gabe, what do you think? No idea.
I
All right,
have no
Brady.
idea.
Give him
Brady,
a
give
hint.
us
Cloudy with a chance of
it
meatballs.
animated?
Oh.
Yeah, animated.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Oh,
I've
Gabe,
never-
you didn't
guys, I've
say it,
never
but
seen
I'll
that
give it
movie.
to you because Brady
never
Brady
seen
showed
that
it with
movie.
you. All right.
Brady's like
Thank you,
11,
thank you.
so that's
I know, Brady.
No.
Brady, are you even
All right.
30 yet?
Yes.
All right, Gabe, here we
no.
go. Here's the next quote. Who knew a tornado could be so toothy?
Ooh, come on.
Ah.
Come on, Gabe.
Got it.
Come on, Gabe.
Oh, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Who knew a tornado could be
But
so
it's
No
It's
clue.
not-
tornado.
Yes.
Is that an
Sharknado.
alligator? Is that an alligator?
2013.
Greg? What is this like?
Oh, when the shark bites.
What?
It could be anything that bites you.
All right, I'll be honest. I think
a
it's
lot.
really starting to get hard. We got a few more.
That's what
Here's
she
the
said.
next- Here's the next. Ooh.
Oh, look.
I don't care. That joke is like 15 years old. We're using
What are you,
it.
like 11?
Shut up. Shut up, Mess.
Gabe, here's your
Oh,
quote.
leave him
The
alone.
storm's not out there. It's in here.
Sounds
If you guess this, I'll give you like 80 points just for this one.
Is it like Into the Storm or?
Oh.
All right, so
Yeah.
here's the hints. I'll give you a hint. Hint number one, it's a slow burn drama, not a blockbuster about tornado fears. I'm sure that'll sell it for you.
Tornado fears?
Tornado
Yeah.
No, here's the
Supercell.
second hint.
Dang
Michael
it.
Shannon's haunted but apocalyptic storm dreams. I don't even know who Michael
never even
Shannon
heard of
is.
that.
I don't know.
I don't know what that one is.
13 minutes.
What?
All right, this
ju-
one was called Take Shelter from 2011.
Wow, that was
It was so
Actually,
bad.
that was
no one's
actually a
ever heard
really
of it.
good movie. That was actually
Oh,
really, and that was
wow.
actually
No one's
filmed.
heard of it.
That was actually filmed near Laredo, Texas.
Bullshit.
No, swear
I
to
just saw
God,
that.
Take
Okay.
Shelter. Yeah,
Okay.
it was a good movie. Actually,
I don't remember that at all.
All right, Gabe, here we go. Next quote. You can't stop a storm by wishing it away.
Huh.
Can't stop a storm by wishing.
Hint
away.
first hint, because I
Wizard
know
of
you
Oz.
need hints on this. We all do.
Yeah, that's a tough
Teens
one.
and chasers film twisters in a small town. Teens and chasers, and this was kind of a somewhat big one, big tornado film.
Is it Into the Storm in 2014? Is that what it's called or no? Who's the one in like?
Gabe, do you want to listen to Jen, or do you want to keep going? Hints?
I would like to listen to anyone who has any idea because I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, it is Into the Storm
Wow.
from 2014.
It is. Okay.
Jen, how the hell did you know what year that movie came
That
out?
was crazy. Wow.
Because
She's
the Weather
cracked.
Channel, we all went to go see it. Like
Okay.
literally, we had like
Ah.
30 employees.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
Who is
She's
in that
using
movie?
A bad
AI.
misquote.
Jen
Two
is
more.
Sigma. Jen is Sigma, as the kids say. She's Sigma.
Two more. Here we go.
She knows.
Here's the quote, Gabe. It's like the heavens opened up and threw a party. First hint. Morgan
be
Freeman's
anything.
a villain in this rainy action flick.
Morgan Freeman.
Oh.
Garrett, we need your help. Oh, look at the chat.
Garrett, how do you
rain.
know this stuff? How do you?
Hard
Garrett,
rain.
what is going on?
Garrett's a freaking
Remember
weather
when we
nerd.
started,
I love
when we
it.
started the show
Cracked.
and Gabe talked about being on the spectrum. Garrett's on the spectrum.
Oh my God.
Garrett is cracked.
Hopefully.
He is on this
Surprise.
shit. Okay, here we go. Last
Wow.
one, Gabe. Here's the quote. We're in the middle of a war with Mother Nature and she's winning. I'm trying to think who the main... John Cusack is in this film.
John Cusack.
I don't know who that is.
Old. I know
Think
that.
Mayan
Oh, I
calendar,
What does that rhyme
quakes,
with?
and mega floods.
What does that rhyme with?
He races to save his family from global disasters.
Oh my
Rhymes
God.
with
Came out in
Wendy Wells.
2009.
Wendy. That's not a
2012.
real rhyme.
2012 was the answer.
That's not a rhyme.
Gabe, you were amazing. That was absolutely amazing. There's not a whole lot of good weather storm films out there, are there?
No.
That's the problem.
That's your drinking.
That's
That-
why
that
we
is-
do it.
That is definitely the problem. So I'll tell you what, folks. Gabe, do this first. I guess you talked a little about where to find your program, but I guess anything else. Where can people follow you on social media? Anything else we missed as far as YouTube or anything?
Yeah. So you can follow me at X on X at WXGabe. So WXGABE. And that's where you can find me on Facebook, on YouTube as well. I'm also on Instagram. And really, if you're looking for the course material, you can find that at gabegarfield.com.
Awesome. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take another quick break, but everybody go grab your earmuffs because Weather Trollbot is back in the studio and we're going to be right back with her. So stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Mark Johnson, and I am the co-host and co-producer of Stormfront Freaks podcast, the most entertaining weather podcast on your listening device. And here's a message to get you weather ready. The spring season is here, and we want to prepare you for spring weather threats, which include tornadoes, lightning, flooding, and thunderstorms. Being weather aware is important. Make sure you stay informed about weather conditions and know what type of weather is forecast for your area. Knowing the weather ahead of time will help you to prepare. For more information, please visit the NOAA Weather Ready Nation website at weather.gov/WRN.
Hi, this is Amaryllis Cotto. I am part of the Hurricane Hunters with the 53rd Weather Squadron. And I'm also a meteorologist at the National Weather Service, Houston Galveston office. And you are here for the Storm Front Freaks.
Let's take a drive under the somber sky. Let's take a drive under the moon.
All right, it's that time of the show. I would say this is everyone's favorite part of this show. This is Weather Fools, hashtag Weather Fools. And this is where we're going to bring to you all those dumb people doing dumb stuff associated with the weather. Now, MJ, I don't know who you've got queued up already for us, but I know I've sent a couple through. Who else has got Weather Fools tonight, gang? Phil, you got a few? MJ, you just throw them up, and we'll see who
Phil's got 32. He's got 32 tonight.
I've got 5. I think I missed the last show and everything else.
Phil's got a bunch of them, but Greggles, I don't have yours again. I don't know what's going on.
Oh man, okay. All right. Well,
we'll throw Phil's first one up there and see what happens.
All right, we'll start with me. All right, so this I call what part of downhill and snow doesn't make sense to you?
Oh my!
Oh, there goes Greg's
look at that
sprinter.
hill. It's a fucking hill in the winter, guys. You gotta don't you have to be aware of that?
Oh my
They're
God.
not.
Yeah, no, they clearly
They're
don't.
they're not. They're very not.
They
I
are
love
not
Garrett's
aware
comment.
of that.
You can't park there.
Oh my gosh.
That guy's flying too. I mean,
Greg,
he
that
is
looks
just,
like your van. Was that
It
you
is,
by
yeah.
chance?
It's not me,
Your
but it does
Sprinter?
look like my
Okay.
van. Yeah.
That was 2
What about
weeks
those
ago.
people? Those people
Yeah,
are
I was
coming
looking at
over
those
and
people
like get
trying
off
to-
the road.
That was a tour.
Yeah, they were climbing over the fence.
That was a tour coming through there. All right. The next one I call, this is from Alina. This is, I call it Faraday Cage. Look at these guys. They're getting in their car.
Oh, this is good. This is a good one.
They're getting in their car,
Good.
close the
Wait
door.
for it,
Everything's
wait for it.
fine. It's just raining a little bit.
Whoa! Huge CG!
Lightning
Massive!
strike right next to them as they get in their car.
Oh, that's
terrifying.
awesome. Whoa!
Look at that tree.
Wow.
What I love is if you can see it, if you play it again, on the right side of the white car, there's actually sparks hitting the ground there. So it is all around them here.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
you're right.
I see it.
That.
That's scary.
Oh yes!
Nice
Good
attention.
thing they got in the car when they did.
There is a
Wow,
God.
really.
That's all I
Yeah.
have to say. there.
Nice
All right.
attention to detail, Greg.
Here we go. The next one I call, and on your right, you'll see our road washing out on your
Oh,
right.
my
Wow.
This is part of our
Oh.
tour. Little flood going on here.
Oh,
They
nice.
just going around it.
They're
That's
going.
a
They're
lot
going
of
underneath
water.
the cave. They're like going to the left of it, underneath.
Are they
This.
This looks
insane?
like this looks like
car wash.
this looks like the ride at Zumbizi
Car
Bay, like the log ride. You're just kind of going around the waterfall and about to go down the slide.
Why
This
would they
is like
even
what your
do
mother
that?
tells you. If somebody jumped off a bridge, would you follow them?
Yeah, yeah,
This is like
exactly,
if
Tina.
somebody went under a waterfall, would you follow them?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
if it was your
God.
mom telling you, she probably had a pretty good reason.
They made it through. I should be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, the
That's
next
scary.
one we got coming up, I
Scary.
call this, you're going to get my bat, people.
Oh no!
We got folks
Oh,
under
it's
the overpass trying to protect themselves from hail.
Everyone put the earmuffs on because here comes Phil's swear
Blocking the
words.
fucking road, the whole fucking road.
It didn't
Like
work.
no one can get through. It's hailing,
working.
and you're deciding that, you know what? I'm here first. So I think I'm going to go under the overpass, protect my fucking car, and you got to sit behind me and you can't fucking go anywhere. Because I
And you know
said
the
Or a
crazy
yellow
thing is-
moving
Have you
truck.
ever wondered what Phil's trigger is?
But
It didn't work.
Here's the thing about this video, though, Phil. There's not even bad hail going on here.
No, I don't see, I agree. I don't see it. And be honest, I don't see anybody behind these other folks either, truthfully. Now, if I were behind you, guess what, Brady? I've still got your blue plastic bat in the back of my car. I'm pulling that motherfucker out, and I'm going to go up to that car right in front, and I'm going to go, you move that car, or I'm going to beat you with this plastic bat.
Oh, my God. Then there's going to be a video of Phil.
Yeah, I
You know what?
And then,
That'd be
then I'm
epic.
in jail. And
That'd be
all
epic.
of our
Well, hey, we'd bail you out.
Chase weeks are gone. All right, this next one I call, this is from Luna Light. I call this no Faraday cage.
Oh, massive.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my
That's
They're playing
great.
tennis and a lightning strike, like literally right fucking next to them.
Oh.
She was
And
like,
they
that
look-
was stupid. I'm leaving.
And it
Yeah,
looked like there
yeah,
was
look
about
at her.
3 or 4 return strokes in there too at the.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Thunder
scary.
roars, go indoors, folks. Please.
She won though because he
playing
quit
tennis.
first.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
my.
just like the whole the way she acted when it was over. She's like, this was a dumb idea, and she just
Wow.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So is that all we got for Weather Fools, guys? Right on. Well, that's episode 234, Weather Fools. You can find those all in the show notes. And now we're going to move on to Weather Trollbot.
Oh wow! I was wondering if that was just slowing down there. But Weather Trollbot 5000. If you haven't watched this before, you're missing out because Phil actually found a robot at a garage
crazy.
sale.
AI powered.
And it must have had some futuristic AI programmed into it. You just don't know. But really what it does is it helps we can actually ask it when people are mean to our friends and they're kind of getting that keyboard courage and acting like Karen to our friends. A lot of 100% of the time people are respectful when they reply. Somebody
Professional,
says
actually.
something- Yeah, very professional. They're very
Very.
professional when they reply. Like some idiot from his mother's basement is saying something to someone. But Trollbot takes that and actually makes what the person was actually thinking that isn't so professional.
Yeah,
Super
so
AI.
thanks, Dina. This is actually one of those segments that put the kids away, put your
Yeah.
earmuffs on.
My earmuffs aren't working, Phil.
It's funny. Whoever said I found Trollbot at a garage sale with AI is not correct. Because Gabe, you might know this, and you're welcome to comment here. You're now part of the co-host, by the way. I found whether Trollbot initially was almost like a speak and spell. You know, if you guys remember those old, it was barely considered even a computer. It was almost like a calculator.
How old are you, Phil?
But I'm not
Hey, I had a
commenting on
speak and
that.
spell.
Oh my god, I love you, man.
I don't even know what that is.
Remember Elfie? Any of you guys remember Elfie?
Like the movie?
No, like the little robot thing.
What's it all about?
Absolutely.
Try to
MJ
avoid that
knows
kind of
that
stuff.
shit. Okay. So we found Weather Trollbot, as Dina said, at a garage sale. And so we have, over the years, we've kind of, programmed her, added stuff,
Really
those you
amped her
Star
up.
Wars freaks. It's like the Millennium Falcon of computers. Added
R2D2.
added all this stuff. And so what she does is she interprets what our weather friends are thinking when they're getting trolled. And this is what's great. So I'm going to start. My first one, Dina, is from Matthew Capucci. If you know Matthew from My Radar,
know
and
him.
so he's a chaser meteorologist, and there's kind of a little thread here. So let me kind of go through this thread where this all started from. He first had a post that very bizarre. Gabe, you can understand this. Your weather mind is going to probably be right along here. Very bizarre to see 2,000 to 3,000 kilojoules of CAPE. He explained what it is, which is nice. Convective available potential energy or thunderstorm fuel. Brady, what do you call that?
Gatorade for thunderstorms,
There
baby.
you go, Gatorade. So he's talking about the Pacific Northwest, which doesn't get a lot of this stuff, right? He says for severe weather, we usually look at values over 1,500 units. Today, we're nearly doubling that. Deep South-esque thunderstorm fuel, it's anomalous. Well, then good old, and we don't shy away from just sharing the names. If you're going to put this crap out there on social media, we're going to share your name. Jen Lefebvre.
Lefebvre.
Jen Lefebvre. Lefebvre.
Huh.
There was double chemtrail action yesterday.
Oh, no.
Thoughts on that correlation?
Oh,
Interesting for sure. Faith over fear here. Check out Real GeoEng Watch for some science.
What?
She calls it science. Okay.
I love you, Brady.
Dina, this is your new role, right? Is to just beat the shit out of these people that have no clue what they're talking about. Matthew comes back, says, "Ma'am, as a conspiracy theorist, you don't get to stroll up to experts in their field and say, hey, go do some reading on this website written by other conspiracy theorists who haven't published a single credible paper vetted by peers. Nice try, but no." That's what Matthew said.
Nice. I like
We're
that.
not
That's actually
done.
pretty good. That's actually pretty good.
We're not done. And
Okay.
Dina, you bring up a good point, right? Our weather friends, they're always very nice. I mean, for the most part, really nice in their response. They're not going to say the cuss words that I say and stuff like that. But here's someone else that chimed into the conversation, and this is Lee at LELU Lily. Lily. So Lily Lily said, "You are way too smug and unwilling to look at the possibility that there are things related to weather you just don't know. Please open your mind."
Oh, jeez.
God.
Can't wait.
Not good.
Matthew comes back and says, "Yep, hey, I'm sure there are. But my degree in atmospheric science, unfortunately, in this scenario, trumps a shoddy blog. At Harvard, we learn science from peer-reviewed articles, not blogs. Want to teach me something? I'm game. Send over a peer-reviewed paper, and I'll read it."
That was perfect, actually.
Yeah, that was a great
Pretty
comeback.
damn good. Yeah.
What did he mean to say, though?
Gabe,
I know. What did he mean to say?
let's
Gabe,
hear
how
it.
many times, Gabe, are you getting these kind of trolls that comment to you, and you're thinking, how might I phrase this in a nice professional way? Like
Chinese
like,
lasers.
what are you really thinking? And so, if you're not familiar with Weather Trollbot, we're gonna plug all this information into Weather Trollbot, and she's gonna interpret what Matthew was really thinking. You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
God,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
So here we go. We got to type this in first.
And
And then good old Weather Troll. She's got to compute everything. So hang on while she computes.
Here's what Matthew was really thinking. Oh, here we go. Another armchair weatherman with a blog shittier than a low-pressure system dumping hail. You think I'm smug? Try spending 4 years at Harvard decoding vorticity equations. Here you are Googling tornadoes cause autism or some bullshit. I'd love to open my mind, but your conspiracy crap's got less credibility than a 30-day forecast. What a cum-sucking fucktard.
Whoa!
That was a
Hold
strong
up.
ending.
Earmuffs did not work.
Wow.
Didn't work.
Oh, where's
Brady, I don't
Matt?
know if Trollbot's going to let you share SCP out to 30 days.
I know.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
that
against the
was
rules,
powerful.
apparently. For what it's worth, I like the CFS.
Okay.
I'm a big fan.
That's fair.
Yeah, the 80-day
All right.
forecast. Yeah, all right.
All right,
Yeah.
so we got one more. So this is from our good friend Janice Dean, who's been on the show probably like
she takes
5
some
times.
heat, hey? She takes
Yeah,
some
she
Nice
does.
weather.
Oh,
takes a lot
yeah,
of
it's
heat.
bad. It's bad. She's on the front lines.
Yeah. So here we go. So this was from Not That Off. Not That Off. Male or female
Maybe
said,
a
"Hey,
lot
I just watched Janice's update on the coast states. Louisiana, Alabama, Florida. She's the same jackass that reports on coastal hurricanes and intentionally ignores Mississippi. Nothing new. That's just Fox News."
Oh,
So Janice, very professional, love her.
love her. Yeah.
She comes back and her response is, "I'm pretty confident I mentioned Mississippi several times during my forecast. And there is a record Mississippi snowfall total on the map. If I didn't mention Mississippi while you were watching, I apologize."
I mean,
Wow.
Very respectful. Janice. Oh, very respectful.
So Gabe. So here's the thing, right? We got to plug all this into Weather Trollbot. All these inputs, right? And then Weather Trollbot's going to help us figure out what Janice was really thinking before she replied. So
and Gabe, the real entertainment here. Watch Maz's face during Trollbot.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh.
Gosh.
Here is what Janice was really thinking. Oh, you absolute dipshit. Did you even watch my forecast, or were you too busy typing your dumbass tweet? I name-dropped Mississippi like it's my damn hometown, with a fucking snowfall record on the map. Intentionally ignoring it? What, you think I've got a vendetta against catfish and blues? Pull your head out of your ass, check the replay, and quit embarrassing yourself, you clueless fucckwit.
I love the names. I love them.
That's amazing. Those are very clever.
You know what these people need, Phil, is they just need an AI agent to respond for them. They'll just like run interference, like the Trollbot, right?
Yeah.
Right. They could just say, "Hey, that wasn't me. I didn't say that. That was Trollbot.
It was Trollbot.
Trollbot. Not me. Not me. So all right. So that was good old Weather Trollbot. Let's get to our freak fan box, MJ.
Send me a postcard, drop me a line.
You've got mail, baby, yeah.
You got mail, baby. Yeah, we sure do have some.
Yes, Jen.
Oh my God, thanks, guys. Okay, so we have several, which I'm really excited about. So Carly on Twitter, X, said, Happy Easter to you, Carly. And can't wait for Chase Week. It's going to be epic. And that is very true. Now, Jim Bob Squarepants on Twitter X said, Happy Easter to you also. Chase Week looks awesome. Can't wait to watch. And then Gabriel Herber on Twitter X said, Thank you so much for having us on the show. Was a ton of fun. And then Doug,
Happy Easter too.
Yeah, Doug Kiesling. So this is really, really sweet. And I wish we had a photo. Do we have a photo of this
Jim Bob?
one? No. So listen to this. No. Listen to this. This is the best one. So Doug Kiesling on Twitter X said, Laura is rocking the Stormfront Freaks sunglasses to school this morning for Severe Weather Awareness Week in Minnesota.
That was her daughter. That was her
Epic.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome? So
That is
yes.
nice.
If you have a comment about the show, you love it, you're excited about the guests, all the things, you can tag us on Twitter or X, however you want to, say it. Comment on Apple Podcast or send us an email to questions@stormfrontfreaks.com, and we might read it on the next episode.
Very good. And so I think that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks podcast. I do want to mention that it's entirely Greg's idea that we no longer bleep out any of the swear and cuss words on the podcast. So that's completely on Greg, and MJ doesn't have to do all the extra work.
Wow.
You big
but
heathen.
Yeah. Maz is no longer going to share that on his social media anymore.
Hey Phil, can I just add to, for anybody who's going to be watching the next few months, after having a guest like Gabe on the show, really it's all downhill from here. Like I can't see any future shows being as good as this one. So thanks, Gabe, for coming.
Gabe,
on.
you're amazing.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Greg. It was really nice to meet you guys and see some of you all since, I guess, in SCS. So really great to see you.
Yeah, now we're going to have a successful chase. Just kidding.
I maybe have met you at NSCS, but I don't remember, so I'm sorry about that. My brain was kind of dead.
He fell out
now
of
I
a
remember.
truck. Yeah, so it's okay.
Oh, yeah,
So I'll tell you
Brady.
what, everybody, do us a favor if you're listening or watching, and if you like our show, smash, as Brady says, right, Brady?
Smash it as hard as you can. If you break your mouse and send it to me on Twitter, I'll give you a new mouse.
There you go. Smash that follow and subscribe button. Help us get discovered by sharing this episode on your social media as well. It is mentioned, again, Gabe, thanks so much. It's always great having you. It was good seeing you in February, but thanks for being on the show. You were outstanding, and we'll definitely be having you on again soon, I'm sure. Let's go around the horn and Freaks find out how people can follow you. Jen Watson, I'm going to start with you.
Yay. On X, I am JWatson_WX, and then Jennifer Weather on Instagram and TikTok.
Awesome. Thank you. Maz, let's jump to you. Maz, you're kind of incognito. I don't think anybody can find you anymore, can they?
No,
Like
no.
they
I'm
can't
giving
find
out
your
bogus
social
sites.
security number. They can't.
Yeah, good luck. You can leave a question, but whatever. No, you can find me on X. I'm at Money Storm, the number 4, the letter U. That's Money Storm for you.
There you go. MJ, how about you, brother? Literally, brother.
That's
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I am incognito right now, so maybe in a week or two,
All
or
right, you can't
month or two.
Okay.
You can't find MJ anywhere. So if you want to find MJ, just reach out to me, I guess. Brady Stormcat 5, how about you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Stormcat5. And then also, we are on YouTube. We have just 10 people away from 8,000 subscribers. So get your family members, your friends, go out on the streets, tell them to subscribe to the Stormfront Freaks podcast here on YouTube. It's at Stormfront Freaks. Guys, I'm telling you, if you take pictures of you holding signs on street corners, we'll send you free gear. And guys, I'm trying out the new mustache. What do you think?
Yeah, you got something right here.
Little curl on the side. What do you
Not
think?
so
I'm
much
just kinda-
here,
Okay.
here, but right here.
Okay, yeah. I'm
Right
trying,
here.
Right
just
there, right
kind of
there.
we're
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if I like that look.
All right, Greggles, it is good to see you. I know you're busy all spring and summer, but where can people find you?
Tornado Greg on all socials, and
God, such a great username.
Yeah, Tornado Greg, and Greg Johnson, Tornado Hunter on Facebook.
He's awesome.
I was sporting your Tornado Hunter cap the other day.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it. No, I like it.
Wait, Greggles, did I get a cap? I know I have the shirt. You're my Secret Santa
I
one
think
year,
I
which
gave
was
you a
exciting.
cap when we did that. Yeah.
Did we do? I
Wait,
need
she
to.
got a cap?
Well, I was
All
a
right.
Secret Santa.
I'll send you all caps.
All right, Dina Knightley.
I won't
Dina,
win.
where can people find you?
I am Lady Pilot 70 on all the social medias, but I really don't do much TikTok, so I leave that to Serena.
Okay.
I
You've
let
got
her do
epic
that.
earrings, Dina. Are those tornadoes?
Yeah, they are. They're tornadoes.
I want a pair.
And you are an epic meteorologist too.
Epic.
Just to say
Yeah,
that.
she is.
Thank
you,
you.
She
you
is.
are
And
so
a
good
pilot.
behind the scenes with
She
what
is.
you do and the graphics you do, and you are amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I agree.
I needed to
She
hear
is.
that today.
Good. So I'll tell you what, we've got a little trailer to highlight our next episode, MJ.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's
shit.
exciting.
Here we go again.
Clue number 1, I sit on your face. We're 17 miles an hour, people. Not quite a low-level jet, but we'll take it. For that one.
Of course you put that. Was that the clip of me peeing at the end that you just threw in there?
Yeah, that
oh
was, that
my
was you
god!
peeing with that
I
beautiful
noticed
sunset
that. I was like,
superstorm.
Oh, now let's just remember. I think last year we had Phil peeing.
Yes,
This
we
is true.
did.
This is
Yeah.
true.
You
Oh,
did,
last
but you
year?
guys didn't see that because that was when I was chasing solo before we started going out. But I
we
do
all
want to
saw
say
it.
that little trailer about our chase week 4 for the Stormfront Freaks, our chase week. A lot of that storm footage, Tornado Greg, thanks to him.
It's
'cause,
unbelievable. Yeah.
He's got some. Greg just continues to get not only some great video and time lapse, but his photos are amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they are.
We're gonna miss you out there this week, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it too, guys.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard. But anyway, Greg just does some amazing stuff. And again, cameraeasy.ca is his online camera program that I actually went through as well and learned a ton of information. Very easy. He does a great job. Camera easy, right?
I've got a huge one of Greg Prince in my house. Literally like a life size. It is. I'm telling you, some of his photos, guys. You could have pictures up on your wall. So I don't know,
Of
Greg, if
Greg
that's a
himself?
service you do,
Okay,
but like
move along.
it was awesome.
Move along.
Anyway, Just
No,
saying.
I feel like-
Greg, you're a very humble. Jen, did you have something to say?
I was just gonna say between Greg and Gabe, I feel like G squared.
Yeah.
You could conquer
G squared.
G
I ain't in the same stratosphere.
No.
G squared.
You guys could conquer the storm chasing photography world. Yeah.
They have.
No,
no,
honestly,
no,
Greg,
you
I've
take
watched your
their
stuff for
courses.
years. You've got great stuff, man.
You take their courses, each of
And
them, the
then you-
photography and that, and then you conquer.
I'll just say this. After looking at both of their photos, I'll never be there. I'm just telling you right now. I'll never be able to take.
None of us will ever be
I will
there.
never be able to take the photos you guys take. It is just, I'm telling you, it's just, you guys are awesome.
Anyway, so I want to give credit to Greg because a lot of that storm footage on that trailer was his.
Thanks, Phil.
And he's great, man. I love the stuff you do, Greg. But anyway, so it is Chase Week 4. This is the 4th year as the Freaks that we're doing a Chase Week. We're going to be in the field streaming our multi-day chase live sometime during the first part of May. So we're still figuring this out. And Gabe, we're gonna ask for a little bit of your help in the after show. We're gonna do a little forecasting here in the after show in the next couple weeks. Kind of look to see in the long range models what things are looking like. But subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can catch all the action both on the storms and guys, all the shenanigans and the crap that we do when we're not on storms. And Gabe, you've talked about this too, right? As you're talking about some of the YouTube stuff and the live streaming stuff you're going to be doing is really also talking about the whole process of finding that storm. Not just, okay, hey, we're at a storm. Look at this tornado. Look at this great supercell structure. But what's the thought process that goes into finding that? And for us, it's some of that. But it's just a lot of bullshit. Like, for the Stormfront Freaks, like we're just hanging out. We're trying to figure out where we're going to get a hotel that night. That's going to be kind of close, but on the way. But you're going to see all that, right? We're going to be
try to avoid bed bugs.
Lubbock.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the avoiding I did, and I literally had the one room that had them. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So anyway, Stormcat 5 is going to be leading us through our events in the field, while MJ and Greggles, we're going to get you guys helping us out, hosting from the studio with your input and radar when you guys have a chance to jump on. And we're going to compile a audio podcast highlight episode, which we'll post once we get back, and we'll make that available if you like to listen to us as opposed to watching. But regardless, jump on youtube.com/stormfrontfreaks. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and that'll help you know when we do decide that week that we're going to chase or that time that we'll chase. Every day we'll be streaming live, and it'll help you know when we're going to be live, give you a chance to watch us. If you're at work, you can have us in the background. If you're at home, throw it up on your big screen TV, whatever it might be. We're going to have a great time. Also, guys, listen to this. This is we're really excited about this. We're going to be running a special drawing along with ISP Tech for an amazing Storm Chaser pack. So ISP Tech has put together some great streaming equipment that if you're a streamer, if you're a storm chaser and you want to stream your storm chasing, ISP Tech has done a great job of, because here's honest to God truth. Like, I don't have the time. Gabe, you were talking about this, right? You get older, get married, have kids, you have a family, you got a job, you got all, like, you can't storm chase full time. That can't be a part of your repertoire. So it kind of becomes a little bit of a hobby. You love doing it and you love being able to have the opportunity, but it's just you don't have time. And so what's great about ISP Tech is they have put together these storm chasing packages to be able to I'll make it really simple, because again, I don't know all the tech. They put together a hotspot for you, right? A hotspot where you can get access to all the various cell companies and cell phone towers and get top priority, right? Which means when you're in a congested area with a lot of chaser convergence, you're going to be bumped to the top of that cell phone tower because you have priority over everybody else. So it's going to allow you to stream, have a better stream, have less buffering, have less downtime.
Take that, Jordan.
Yeah.
The bandwidth is ours.
So ISP Tech has put this together, and they have these storm chasing packages. You can search ISP Tech, and you can find the different packages they have. And they've basically sent us, we've got a kit that is going to allow us to be able to stream top priority. And so Stormcat 5 and Dina and Jen and Serena, we're going to be able to stream our storm chase and all the other crappy shenanigan fun stuff that we do and have top priority on all the cell signals. So we're going to have really good coverage for that. But ISP Tech is working with us, and we're putting together this drawing. So we're going to be doing a drawing in early May. So start looking for this, maybe May 1st, right around there. Look on Twitter or X, right? Search Stormfront Freaks. We're at Stormfront Freak or search ISP ISP Tech. And you have an opportunity. We're going to make a post for this chaser kit. And all you have to do is follow and repost the same post on Stormfront Freak. You'll get one entry. And on ISP Tech, you'll get a second entry to this giveaway. So here's what it's going to be. First off, you guys excited about? I haven't shared this with you.
I'm so excited. I want to win. I want it.
So the first thing is this duffel bag.
That is so cool.
You're going to get this Stormfront Freaks duffel bag to carry all your chasing stuff, all your crap, all your whatever you want. But let's take a look at what's in the bag, right?
Wow.
Ooh, and there's stuff
So,
in the bag.
I want
The
it.
first couple things we got.
Christmas.
All the kind of fun stuff. We got a Stormfront Freaks sticker.
I love
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Right?
I stick that on my shower.
We've got a couple ISP Tech Chaser Internet, powered by Chaser Internet stickers.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Right on. Stick those right on your face.
And then this is new, guys. If you happen to see us out in the field during Chase Week, you see the Stormfront Freaks vehicles. We'll have Stormfront Freaks logos on the side of our vehicles. I shared this with Brady. I haven't shared this with anybody else. We're going to have these magnets, car magnets.
Yeah.
These are magnets, so not stickers. So if you don't want to put a sticker on your car,
Brady,
I get
look
it. You
at
could just
that.
throw a stick, throw a
awesome.
magnet, a little magnet on there. It's like 4-inch by 4-inch magnet. Stormfront Freaks Outbreak.
That's
with,
awesome.
With
That's
Stormcat.
Oh,
5.
yeah.
Oh,
We're
cool.
sticking those on so many people's cars.
Right. So as we see chasers out there,
should just do
stick
that
them on your car.
random
You can
part.
take it off if you don't want. That's fine. But we'll stick them on your
sticking it
cars.
on
Little
there.
magnet, kind of cool.
Sticking one on the Dominator.
So this
for
is in the
sure.
pack. Then next, you guys seen that? There's like a movie that's been out called Twisters.
Yes.
heard
I
of
see
it?
this
Heard
in
of
my
it?
hand.
Oh, my God.
So what I've got, what you're going to get in this pack is this is authentic Twisters movie set debris. So this is actually broken
That's
glass.
so cool.
Broken glass from the filming location. This was in Chickasha, Oklahoma in 2024.
Oh my God.
And it's certified. It comes with certifications and all that kind of stuff. This was actually from the Twisters film set. So a little kit there. So that's pretty cool.
I want it.
All right,
there's
Brady.
more.
Have you seen? Oh, yeah, we're not done yet. Brady.
Glenn
you seen one of these
Oh,
before?
yes. The weather meter.
Whoa.
So the weather meter. So this is from Weather Flow, and these are the guys wind and weather mobile apps. So Weather Flow. These they also do weather stations, but this is really cool. It is a Bluetooth anemometer.
That's
So
hot.
you can hook
It
this
works.
anemometer up to your phone and basically measure wind. It also does, I think, temperature. What else does it do? Humidity, stuff like that. But anyway,
That's
Brady's
awesome.
got one of these things.
Yeah,
this
it's
is
epic.
actually in our trailer. You saw him use it in the trailer. But you're going to get one of these Bluetooth anemometer weather flow.
And they're really good for leaving on the hood of your car, too. I'd recommend it. I recommend. It's a really great
And last, this Storm Chaser kit and duffel bag and pack is going to come with a GoPro Max 360 camera.
That's awesome.
So if you're a chaser, you're going to add a 360 camera to your repertoire. This is going to be in the pack as well.
That's
All this
amazing.
is
That
from
is
Stormfront Freaks and ISP Tech.
Dude, that is...
So
That is
watch on
awesome.
Twitter, because this will be done on Twitter, and you'll have 2 chances to enter the drawing. One is if you repost and follow Stormfront Freaks on Twitter. The second entry is if you follow and repost that same tweet post on ISP Tech.
Epic.
I like it. I love
We'll go
it.
about a week. The drawing will be about a week. You'll have a chance to enter for about a week, and then we'll do a drawing probably either while we're out in the field or maybe when we get back from the field. We'll see who wins that. I'm losing my voice.
Can I win it, Phil?
Unfortunately, yeah, friends and
Wow.
family.
Devastating.
I shouldn't say friends because we have a lot of friends in the storm chasing community, but us,
No friends.
like we can't win it, so that's not gonna work
Devastating.
out. All
Jen,
right,
you could go under an alias. You could go under an
for
alias.
those of you watching, stick around. We're gonna have a quick after show party. But for Gabe, MJ, Brady, Maz, Greggles, Jen, Dina, and in the background we got Garrett, Angela, and Dan. I'm gonna signal the all clear. We'll catch you guys next time. So good night, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to the Stormfront Freaks podcast. Our bi-weekly show is available on your favorite audio podcast player and on YouTube, along with videos from Stormcat 5 at youtube.com/stormfrontfreaks. Patreon team members can watch the live recording session and access other great member benefits. For Patreon details, show notes, past shows, videos, merchandise, and more, visit our website at stormfrontfreaks.com. While you're there, check out our interactive radar from our friends at zoomradar.com. If you would like to contact us with questions or make comments about the show, shoot us an email to questions@stormfrontfreaks.com or follow us on X or Blue Sky. Search for Stormfront Freaks. We'd love to hear from you. Join us next time and tell a friend about the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
It
All
is
right, Gabe, you're
Forecast
awesome.
Tim. It's Forecast Tim now, Phil. It's Forecast Tim. Who's Forecast Tim?
What?
Who's Tim?
What's he
Look,
talking
it's
about?
Forecast
I have
Tim.
no idea.
Look at the chat. Everyone look at the private chat. It's
I
Forecast
see it.
Tim.
I don't know.
Who's Forecast Tim?
Oh,
Tim,
yeah.
are you here?
Forecast time. Sorry. Hey, so I do want to give. Good point.
Where's my head? Where did I go?
All right,
I got it. No, you
Garrett, and Dan. We
Matt, look
kind
how
of went
confused he
long
is.
on a lot of stuff, but I want to, Gabe. I want to give these guys an opportunity to ask you questions. I know Garrett has been taking your classes. So Garrett, I'm going to start with you. If you got a question for Gabe.
What's wrong with Maz?
Well, just first, I'll say the course is awesome. It's pretty easy to take in, and about halfway through it, probably going to have to go back through and start over again. It's been a minute since I dove in, but it's really come in handy. And I guess as far as the question goes, with you coming from Oklahoma to this neck of the woods here in the Tri-Cities, I guess the biggest thing we had here recently was Helene. How would you say, maybe like NWS Morristown handled things, compared to how, they do it out west Oklahoma?
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job considering the historic nature of the storm. I think, they were calling for, I want to say, like 10 to 15 inches of rain in the mountains, and it ended up being, my gosh, I think it was like 20 or 25 inches. It was quite a bit higher than what they had forecasted, but I think even what they ended up doing was well beyond the scope of anything that they had done to that point. So I thought they handled it extremely well, and even so, it was obviously horrific. I don't know what part of we've talked before about this, but remind me, where are you in the area?
Yeah, I'm up in Southwest Virginia, so I'm about like 45 minutes from Kingsport. So, yeah.
Okay, so same area. So you probably saw some of the areas just south and east of where you live, and it was horrific. It was like a tsunami, really, in some of these towns just south of Johnson City.
Yeah, really bad.
Real quick, can we make Maz full? Because people need to see what's going on. Maz we may have broke him. We may have broke Maz. We may have absolutely broke Maz. Oh, we're getting there. 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 Here we go.
Oh, man.
He had a stroke.
Maz!
He had a
Where are
stroke.
you, Maz? Oh, come back to us. Don't go to the light, Maz. No. Oh.
All right, Dan, you got any questions for Gabe?
It's a follow-up to one of Jen's questions concerning Tornado Alley. A lot of people are saying that it's moved east to Dixie. What would you say to those folks?
Yeah, so I'm not an expert in this, first of all, but what I've seen from reading, papers and abstracts and things like that, it doesn't seem like anything has really shifted. As far as I can tell, this tornado alley that we have is still what it is, and I think there's a bit of literature out there that suggests that maybe tornado alley is perhaps shifting a little bit northward, but to be honest with you, I don't know if there's a real consensus yet on that. And it would make sense, right? If you have more warming, right? What would that do is that would, move your fronts, you talk about storm fronts, right? It would move them further to the north. So that's a possibility. I don't know that there's a real consensus on that. And I think Harold Brooks, or if you're familiar with him, from National Severe Storms Laboratory,
yep,
he suggests that there haven't. You've had him on, okay? Yeah.
Yep.
So you could probably find out more information from him, but I think from what I recall, he said that there isn't much indication that there's a shift in the tornado alley.
All right, thank you.
All right, so Gabe, here's what we're going to do where we need a little bit of your help, forecasting help, and everybody's included on this. We need some help. So we're looking at our chase week.
I've got the models up too,
that
Phil.
the Stormfront freaks were going out, Gabe. Our initial plan for scheduling our chase week, and again, we want everybody's input here, what you guys think, but we were going to go out sometime between May 4th and May 10th was our initial plan. But Gabe, we want what do you think as far as because we're seeing a lot of I don't know. Obviously, there's no troughs. We're getting a lot of he's like I've had too much bourbon.
Ridges, Death Ridge, Death Ridge.
We're getting a lot of ridging.
Yeah.
Seems to be a lot of ridging that week. So what are your thoughts on should we adjust a little? I don't think we can go earlier than that. But it seems like maybe some people could go a little bit later than that May 3rd through the 10th time period, or 4th through the 10th. So what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so a few things. Number one, I would say that there usually is a mid-May lull in severe weather that I've seen in the last 25 years of chasing. So that can, vary in timing. But usually you have like a late April, early May kind of crazy week or whatever, and then you get a lull, and then you get the Memorial weekend that goes crazy. So if you can wait till that late, I don't know if you can, that would probably be optimal. But if you can't, if you can only go a little bit longer, I think one thing that I'd be interested in knowing is kind of the predictability at this range. So one of the things I like to look at is if you go to it's College of DuPage, their webpage, they actually have what's called the GEFS. It's basically like the GFS model, the long range model. It's like a breakdown of all the different members of that ensemble. So an ensemble is basically a way to help meteorologists understand uncertainty within forecasts. Going back to the butterfly effect, right? Some situations are very unpredictable. Like if you have, the saying goes, if the butterfly flaps its wings in one place in, say, South America, it causes a tornado in North America or something like that through a series of events. But it turns out that sometimes, things are pretty predictable, and you can actually figure this out through model ensembles, which are basically models, sometimes the same model with slightly different parameters or initial conditions or something like that. And so you can see how predictable the situation is. So it looks like what we have here is what is this? I can't see it.
This is the GFS ensemble, but this is just like this isn't every member. This is like a average.
Yeah.
Right. Let me see if I can find every member though.
I was wondering what your date was. It was covered because I was hoping that ridge in the west. I mean, if it's going to move east, you're going to have a trough behind it. So.
Would you like me to
wait,
Phil? If you guys
go ahead and pull up.
If you guys do decide to go during that second week, the good news is you'll be super safe. Like you won't have to worry about getting hurt by any tornadoes or
Yeah,
anything like that.
and
right?
Gabe,
So-
Gabe, what I was struggling with was I was trying to figure out. Okay, I was trying to compare now to, and sorry, I'm like sideways. I just I don't know why. But I was trying to compare now, and what's happening now, because right now, I mean, they're not in a ridge, but they're certainly not in a very deep trough, right? I was trying to see, okay, is there at least because is there at least going to be something that forms along the dry line, right?
Sure.
Yeah. But I was
that
just
looks good.
like, well, yeah, that looks good. That's going to be Monday. That's
What's the
that's
date?
like the Monday. That's Monday and
That's
Tuesday.
that's
when
you're on
things are
it
gonna
right
go
now.
off.
Okay, that's-
Next
yeah.
week.
That
We're
looks
we're
good.
looking
problem-
another week later.
Yeah, this is like right when we're going to
Yeah.
be there. The problem is I'm seeing like, north. I'm almost seeing like northwest flow. I
That's
mean,
not the pattern you want,
I
though.
feel like that's bad, right?
That's usually pretty bad.
But I mean,
It's usually
even if
pretty
you look
bad.
at the 500 millibar pattern, like anomalies.
But I mean, maybe that. I mean, this is.
But look at that
Wednesday.
low coming off of Mexico down in the
this is-
southwest
this
there.
is-
What about
I
that?
mean, this is Wednesday. I will say that. Like, this is Wednesday. Like a little bit of there's some energy right in there. And that kind of looks similar to what we're having right now.
Do you guys want me to chime in on this?
Yes, everybody's
Yes.
included.
When
Everybody
the
can.
GFS, when you're 2 weeks out on the GFS and it shows that there's going to be a catastrophic trough, everyone goes, "Oh, you can't even look at the GFS 2 weeks out." But when the GFS shows, "Oh my God, you're going to have nothing," everyone goes, "Oh my God, we're going to have nothing."
Yeah.
That's
What-
true.
It's the
That's
GFS,
true.
the
Good point.
drama
Good point.
queen.
At least from what I'm seeing, and Gabe, weigh in on this, right? But what I'm seeing is like there's either going to be like a complete death ridge where there's nothing, right? Where literally we get nothing, or there's going to be like this like trough that the Euro's showing. This is the 12Z Euro that comes off and gives us some decent days. I don't think we're going to have any widespread outbreaks, but like I don't know. It's so
to be
tough.
honest,
Gabe.
I don't know that you want a big high risk day anyway.
I don't
A high risk
agree.
day in the Texas Panhandle in Oklahoma, you got a million chasers out there. They usually are not super visual.
Agreed.
The types of storms you got, these HP storms. I don't know. I think that what you have on screen right now, if that verifies, that's actually a pretty damn
What's
good
the
day.
date there?
So
What's the date
this
there,
is May 6th. The problem is this has been like if I go back to 0Z, I guess it's still there at 0Z, right? 12Z. So the Euro's been pretty consistent with this. Now the ensembles have not picked up on this trough. The GFS has not got on board with this. I mean, this would be pretty good for us. But what I don't know, Gabe, is like if this trough were to not be there and it's just a big death ridge, I feel like there would be nothing, right? There wouldn't even be dry line
Okay,
stuff.
but that's not a death ridge right there.
No,
Well, no,
that's not
but
actually.
You don't get the death
This
ridge
is-
usually until early June.
Yeah.
Or at
Okay.
least. I will say,
It's a good ridge.
kind of a historical reference. The 2013 episode, that Greg and I were talking about with the Moore tornado. Up to that point in the season, there was very little going on. You remember that, Greg, right?
Yeah, there was
And
nothing in 2013.
I remember going to this party with a bunch of meteorologists, and we were talking about it like the Saturday before that whole episode started. I think actually it was exactly 1 week before that all started, and that was the first time that like 1 week before it all started, that was when we started to see the model showing it. So basically, before that, it was like basically what you're seeing there. So,
I
all
mean,
that to say is that
if it's not showing
it's
anything,
not very predictable.
Yeah, if it's not showing anything for the 4th or 5th, if you guys can push it a few days, even a few days, now you're talking. You are into the 2-week GFS. I mean, it's May chase, right? It's May.
Yeah.
It's
Do we think with this? So let's just say this is the European ensemble. Let's just say this comes to right. You got a big ridge here, and then you got the Euro seems to think this is a Euro ensemble. The Euro seems to think there's a little bit of a dip here, a little bit of a trough here. Do we think that would be at least enough to get some dry line stuff? Because that's all we need, right? As we're seeing now, right? That's all
if that
we need.
verifies, I would be happy with that.
Yeah, and that would be very
Absolutely. I mean-
similar.
But, we
Go ahead.
We
Go
up
Gabe.
against this every year. Like it looks like nothing, and then at the last minute, we get something. So it's
Yeah. And I would say that looking at the spaghetti plot, which kind of looks at 500 millibar pattern and just seeing how predictable it is, because like once when the lines are really close to each other, that means it's pretty predictable, and then once the line starts to fall fall apart, that means it becomes unpredictable. I just looked at it, and the predictability breaks down by like Thursday of next week. So basically, anything beyond Thursday, I wouldn't really give too much credence. And up to that point, the flow is either southwesterly or from the west. And given the fact that you have pretty high moisture content, that's going to, seasonable, 60s dew points, 70s dew points. I don't think there's any reason to believe that you're in trouble or anything.
Okay, that's good. And I mean, Gabe, would you think the later we can push, because right now we were going to go like the 3rd through the 8th. Do you think the later we can push it in the week? Because it seems like, May 2nd through May 4th or 5th, there could be northwest flow, and then maybe it's kind of that trough kind of shifts a little bit. The further we can kind of push into May, the better.
It may be. It just depends on the, sometimes these things like kind of reload. You have like a nice active pattern like we have here, and then there's like a little lull, and then it comes back. So, I mean, given how that usually works with that periodicity, I would say that's probably possible. Let's see. I'm looking at CFS. You're going to hate me for that, but I love it all.
Yeah, that
the
Canadian
chiclets.
model yeah.
I mean, it does show a kind of a lull in, ironically, it does show that right after this event. So like the latest model from CFS shows like very, very low probabilities for like probably 7 days after this Tuesday event. And then it goes back into like higher probabilities. So who knows?
You can, Gabe, if you want, you can share your screen.
Yeah, share it.
Okay, yeah.
You're looking
I
at
didn't
something?
know if you wanted me to steal it or not. I can
steal it.
Steal it. Let me just go on and share my screen. Okay, share my screen. Okay.
Present.
Yeah. Guys, we could be in Clovis once again. I'm telling you, I'm calling that Lubbock hotel and telling them to give us just an unbelievable rate.
We're gonna go all the way back to Lubbock every night.
We're probably gonna have the same like the same person who works there. She's probably gonna remember us. We've had it.
So you see here, this is the most recent forecast, right? So that's the 424. And then the dates here, you can see that the Monday, Tuesday event is right here, the brighter colors. And then like right after that, for like a week, it goes into the blue, which is lower probabilities. And then you get this little up. So, I mean, that's been pretty consistent. I mean, this used to be pretty bright, right? But then it kind of went south. So I don't know, maybe it would be wise to give it a rest and then go a little bit later.
Yeah. So maybe like later, like, so guys, and I think Phil, you said the last day you could push it to is the 12th, right? I mean, that would be when you would end, right?
Yeah. Personally, for me, that doesn't mean you guys can't still be out, but yeah.
We're a team, Phil.
The other thing you guys can do, you guys can hold off till June, and you can come up to the Canadian prairies and chase.
I want to come up with you, Greg.
You can do South Dakota, North Dakota, maybe a little Minnesota.
Wall drug
little wall drug in there. Yeah, you bet.
Greg, I can't go to wall drug without you. I'll just be honest. I'll just be quite honest.
Gabe, favorite place on the plains, favorite place to chase, like a zone, central Nebraska, western Oklahoma,
southern Kansas,
favorite place, southern Kansas.
Southern Kansas. I love southern Kansas. It's flat and they have a great grid of roads.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, that's
Very
good.
cool.
Yeah.
There's a great question up here for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
quick question.
How is it working? Hi, Matt. Good question. How is it working with Sean Casey on Storm Chasers? Very interesting. Do you want the long or the short of that? Sean's a great guy. We got along really well, and it was actually really interesting. Just long story short, I wasn't supposed to be a character on that show, and Greg, how that works with the characters. They kind of choose their people who are going to wear microphones and so forth. And I was not one of those people. I was going to be sort of the support staff or whatever for this. And my job was to ride in what they called the doghouse, which was this pickup truck outfitted with like a hail guard and like this like turret for like the cameraman to get out and like take pictures of Sean getting in tornadoes. So I was supposed to get really close to tornadoes, but not in them, and get close enough to see Sean go in. So it was really the most dangerous job they had. But the thing was that Josh Warman, who was leading the whole thing, he was let's just say that the drama that they had on the show was real. And they didn't get along very well. And I don't know what Josh necessarily thought of Sean, but at any rate, their communication wasn't great for a little while. And so Sean got very frustrated, and he knew I knew some things about weather. So he said, Gabe, he would ask Josh the question on the radio, and Josh would go silent on the radio. And then he would be like, and Gabe, what do you think? And then I was just like, well, what am I going to do? So I answer his questions. And so he started getting into a habit of asking me before he asked Josh. And then the Discovery Channel producers were like, well, crap, we've got this guy's voice in the background the entire time, and we can't figure out how to, work this out from a production standpoint. So they ended up outfitting me with a mic, and they made me a character. And then I was supposedly introduced to Sean when I had known him for 2 years at that point. But
wow, that's awesome.
Sean is a great guy. He's a little quirky. He's honestly, as far as reality television goes, Storm Chasers was about as real as it gets. Those people are exactly like they're portrayed in the show.
Wow.
That's so interesting. I love that, Gabe. That's so
Check
fun.
out that storm, guys, behind Brady. Look at how that
it
is
looks
not
good.
moving.
It's planted.
Oh wow!
Zoom in, Brady.
Cool.
It is absolutely. And Phil, I'll say this: I'm starting to like weather-wise. The more I use it, I'm starting to really like it.
And it just keeps regenerating over and over and over. It's like it's cycling tornado after tornado.
Yeah.
Are any reports on it, Brady, or still just radar indicated?
It's radar indicated, and I've been watching a couple Storm Chaser streams. It tried to drop. Interestingly enough, the nudger that was on it. This was a storm that had the little nudger. It produced a tornado for like a minute, right? Wow. But then with the nudger came in, sucked up, produced a tornado, but pretty much instantly it nudged the tornado, and then it went. It occluded pretty fast. So, but the hail reports out of this thing have been unbelievable. I mean, we were talking like grapefruit 4-inch hail in these warnings.
Yeah, somewhere they had DVD size hail.
DVD size.
I mean, literally DVD size hail.
Yeah, it was like one of the report. Yeah, it was nuts. So the huge hail. There was tornadoes earlier.
Now, for our younger audience, a DVD is roughly the size of a little bit bigger than a softball.
Wow. And this is 3.5 inches of rain has fallen in the last hour.
That's
here.
insane.
Right just to the southeast of Lubbock.
5.22-inch hail. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this word again.
Oh, look at you,
Dina's
Dina.
got a DVD. There you go.
Wow.
Oh my God, I love it.
When was the last time you saw a DVD? I can't remember the last time I saw a DVD.
I've got some over at my desk, and I just had to blow the dust off of it.
Exactly. How often do those get played? Where's your DVD
never.
player? Do you have it still?
I don't have one downstairs. Yeah, we have one, but we don't really ever use it.
I still have a bunch of DVD Christmas DVDs because I'm like a closet Christmas music fan. And so I've still got a box of Christmas DVDs that I won't get rid of because you never know.
Phil,
you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
I even have a few VHSs.
Oh,
wow. If you know what I mean.
That's bad. Like vinyl, Greg, vinyl's coming back.
Yeah.
Good old vinyl. There's a little Dean Martin vinyl I got.
Oh,
But I haven't heard VHS is coming back quite yet.
I'll say this. I really hope they don't try to bring back like DVDs or VHSs and say, oh, this is retro. It's like, no, let's just let them die. Let's let them die.
I don't
You
know.
guys, I have a DVD VHS combo like player, so I can always like.
I remember those. Yeah.
Like 1990, never.
You know.
Wow.
I had one of those in my dorm room.
Yeah.
I did.
All right, so are we in agreement that 3rd through the 10th of May, Chase Week, maybe a couple days later, we're maybe pushing a little bit later?
If it were me, Phil, I think we'd want to push it as far as possible to end it on the 12th, just from what I'm seeing. And start it whenever.
Okay. Anybody else with input on that? What you've been
Zara
seeing?
has a dance recital on the 11th, so I'll escape early.
Oh no.
Oh, and that's Mother's Day, but that's.
Oh God, that is Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Oh
I
no.
didn't even think about that.
I know it's.
Don't
why
worry,
can't
Brady.
The weather,
I'll say hi to your mom for you.
The weather. If I could control the weather, I would have what I wanted.
I know.
Anyway,
Okay.
it's getting late.
Stop it, Greg. You
All right.
stop it, you bastard!
All right,
Oh my
everybody,
God.
say goodbye to the 3 people that are still watching right now.
Three people.
But thanks for joining us, everybody.
She's still here.
All right, guys.